Time to pick some stocks. I'm going to go first. Enterprise Products Partners, symbol EPD, an energy MLP. And I look at these energy pipelines sort of as earnings toll booths, right? They're just taking the transactions, passing stuff through. And what else do? They pass the profits through. That's the structure of an MLP. I'm just still beginning to learn about them, but I picked EPD because it's a big gun, $40 billion company, an alternative to a Kinder Morgan. Just broke out above $46. And some of the things you want to highlight here. Okay, why are the dividend yields so big? This one's over 5%, because they're not taxed in a corporate structure where dividends are taxed twice, taxed at the corporate level and then passed on to you.
Right.
They take what they call distributions and just pass the profits right on through the pipeline, so to speak.
That's right.
So, and this stock, EPD, has an unbelievable record of raising their distributions. 29 consecutive quarters. You just look at a chart and they're just bip, 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 right through recessions. Now, that doesn't mean they're recession-proof, obviously, the MLPs, but, they seem to be stable and in a strong energy environment, that could continue. So, that's the big tax advantage. And obviously, we're not going to get into the technical details of taxes, but people need to do that themselves because, for instance, in an IRA, you don't benefit the same way. You're sort of handicapped there if you hold something like this in an IRA. So you definitely want to talk to your tax advisor on that. I mentioned the 5% yield. So basically, what does this company do? They're processing and distributing natural gas liquids for the E&Ps, right? Hey, we'll provide these services of processing and transportation for all these different natural gas liquids. I mentioned a $41 billion company. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. There's also a misconception that these companies are not levered to the price of oil or gas, but there is an effect there. If oil plummets, they're definitely going to feel the impact.
Right.
And natural gas is so cheap, hey, it can only go up, right?
Now is this just a safety pick, or do you think there's some capital appreciation?
No, I think
it's both.
Capital appreciation and the yield. Okay. So I think it's a safer place.
A total return pick.
Yeah,
that's right.
to look at energy companies without the volatility.
Right.
All right, Kev, what do you got?
Mine is Dycom Industries, ticker DY, and they are a leading provider of specialty contracting services throughout the United States. What's interesting is they do a lot of business with a lot of very interesting industries, not the least of which is construction, utilities, and telecom, and this kind of thing. And that is one of the reasons why I like them so much. They are doing a lot of business in the construction industry. That is seeing a lot of new growth. You can see that in a lot of our jobs reports where the construction industry is creating some of the newest jobs, the biggest number of new jobs out there.
It better, right?
Construction spending was up too.
Right, that is great. Utilities is one of the strongest industries that we have seen really over the last 6 months. They do a lot of business with utilities. And also, too, talking about something that I had mentioned earlier, focusing on companies that have less international exposure. Telecom is one of those industries that has a very small amount of their sales coming from international territories. So they are focusing, in my opinion, on the right industries that should have at least some degree of insulation that are really strong right now. Wrapping it up real quickly, they have a Zacks rank of a 1. Growth rates look good. Valuations still look very attractive. Margins are expanding. I see a near-term price target for DY of $25. That is over a 21% potential gain from where we are today.
All right. What do you got,
Okay,
Steve?
I'm going with Norfolk Southern. I can't pronounce that. NSC. And just taking it from the top down, the U.S. economy is expanding, besides what it says in the headlines about what's going on in the rest of the world. So expanding economy equals good transportation industry because more goods are being shipped around the country. High oil prices makes it a little more attractive to go on the rails versus the trucking industry. This is NSC has been a very steady performer. It's one of the larger cap names in the group. They traditionally have a PE of around 15, but because of all the concerns the last few months, some of that has come off the stock price. So with earnings looking like $6 for next year and a PE of 15, that makes a price target of 90, which is a nice upside from its current in the 70s. And here again, if the economy continues to expand, this is just a nice, steady performer. Pull into the station on time.
Nice.
My pick is around the same theme as all of you guys did, which means a domestic focus,
domestic,
not a lot of international exposure. It's BRE properties.
We're all
and
staying
apartment
safe at
REIT.
home.
That's right. Apartment REIT, high yield, 3% dividend. It's very West Coast centric, and the demographics and the pipeline supply situation. Pipeline is a play on your EPD.
People need a place to live, right?
That's right. So about 90% of their cash flow comes from California and Washington State. So it has a very strong presence in this very attractive market. The stock is a little bit pricey when you compare it to the broader apartment REIT group. But if you do an apples to apples relative to these coastal REITs, then it looks pretty attractive. They had a good run in 2011. I think the run continues into 2012. Overall, a very attractive, domestic-centric, relatively safer play that gives you decent yield and capital appreciation, essentially along the same lines as enterprise products.
I got to listen to you and Kev because he's focused on housing and construction resurgence in the States here. You're looking at the REITs specifically, and that's an area I want to learn more about.
I like the MLP group as well.
Yeah.
They have a lot of
Well, that's
potential
your
in there, too.
wheelhouse.
That's right.
Old energy expert there. All right, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week.